Hey y'all, it's week 31 of season 2 of the Andy Griffith Show. This week's episode title is Deputy Otis. Barney, what's up this week? Neither Andy nor I had our keys to the courthouse one morning, so we had to wake up Otis to let us in. And he gets all grouchy about it, says he didn't get his full 8 hours. And I start looking through the day's mail, and I say, hey, here's a card from the Udocker brothers up at state prison. Andy and I sent them up there a couple of years ago. And I say, we ought to take a drive up there some Sunday and surprise them. Hey, here's a letter for Otis. It's from his brother, Ralph, and his sister-in-law, saying they're coming to visit. They think he's a sheriff's deputy. Oh yeah, that's because one day Otis, when he was in jail and you all weren't there, let himself out and went in the desk and got a piece of Sheriff's Department letterhead stationery and wrote his brother a letter on it, implying he was writing from his job because he wanted to impress him. And I say, do you know what that is, Otis? That's impersonating an officer. That's a real serious offense. But then Andy and I hear it's because Otis's parents always built up Ralph and never thought as much of Otis. And Andy feels bad and says, let's go ahead and let them think Otis works here. And I say, are you kidding? You mean you're actually going to give Otis a job here? And Andy says, yeah, deputy. And I say, deputy, you can't do that, Andy. You just can't do that. But Andy, in spite of your protest, gives him a uniform and swears him in, and Otis is all grateful, and Andy says, well, now it's just while your relatives are here. And I say, Otis, repeat after me. I will be alert at all times. I will try to look like a deputy and act like a deputy. I will at no time, while wearing the uniform, take a drink. And that last one is real hard on him. And then I try to work on his posture and his salute, and he can't even do them things right. And then the audience sees the brother and the sister-in-law driving to Mayberry on their way, and the brother's saying, I don't believe he's a sheriff's deputy. Like he said in the letter, I'm going to prove that he's lying. And then Andy shows Otis in his deputy uniform to Otis's wife, and he explains to her what's going on. And she says, okay, now since he's an officer of the law, he has to get rid of all his alcohol. So Otis pours it out while Andy watches. And then the relatives arrive, and Andy tells Ralph one of Otis's duties as a deputy is to locate moonshine stills in the county. And then when Otis and Ralph are alone, Ralph asks Otis for a drink. And Otis says, I don't have any alcohol. I'm reformed. And back at the jail, I tell Andy, I don't like it. I just don't like it. By making Otis a deputy, we're falsifying. And it just ain't right to falsify. You never know how these things might turn out bad. And then Otis comes in looking all depressed because he can't find his brother, but he figures he knows where he is. He's out asking townspeople whether Otis is really a deputy because he knows his brother doesn't believe him and he's trying to prove him wrong. But then the brother comes in drunk. And he lets himself into the jail cell and he says, well, that's how he does it at home. And Otis goes over and says he's ashamed of him. And Ralph says he's the town drunk where he comes from. And then he says, but Otis, if you can go without dues, so can I. So he takes the bottle out of his pocket and throws it down. And after Ralph and his wife go back home, I ask Andy, hey, Otis's clothes are still back there. He don't have to pretend he's a sheriff's deputy anymore. Why don't he bring back the uniform? And Andy tells me to have faith in Otis. He says now he won't drink for a long time now. And Otis comes in and looks drunk at first, but it's just because he was trying to keep his tummy sucked in. That is now the end of season 2. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week for the beginning of season 3.